Welcome, everybody, to the daily dose of inspiration and some practices to awaken the leader within so that every one of us pursues sovereign choices and lives into our wholeness every single day. Janet Harvey here, and today's word is be the cause of courage. Courage is one of those words that's always struck me as a little bit challenging because to me, it's something that someone says about another person. We identify people as having a quality of courage in their choices. And what I think actually is going on inside for me is that in order to be characterized as courageous, I must behave in a brave way. I really like this word a lot, courage and bravery both. I want to tell you that it was about, 18 years. This year it'll be 19 years ago. I wrote something for the first time that really was a writer within. And I do see myself as that today. I see myself as a visionary, a writer, a speaker, and a coach. And in the writing realm, before that moment when I wrote something called Courage to be Seen, I was writing from my head. I was writing in a very intellectual, one might say academic way. I barely could read it, let alone anybody else find any pleasure in it. And my journey over the last 19 years has definitely been a courageous act of writing and getting feedback and feeling like, wow, will I ever get the knack of this? And that was a brave act to keep being vulnerable and revealing what I really felt and what I saw about the world and what did I really believe. And gosh, how did I come to believe that this revelation process that every one of us goes through in our lives when we want to be the cause and live on purpose is scary, not easy. Some days kind of joyful. My impish self would say I'd discover something that's like, oh, I've got that one. I know what that is. It doesn't take bravery to do that. Other things, not so much. So for example, I haven't been able to say I am visionary until just the last few months when I've been doing some deep reflection about where am I in my life. I turned 59 in August. So I'm this year preparing to turn 60. It feels like a big deal in a way that earlier in my life, aging didn't. I feel a certain privilege, and with that privilege, a certain responsibility to express myself clearly and to carry the message that is mine to carry, the thing that I came on the planet for. I know that might seem like kind of an esoteric thing to say, and yet I believe that every one of us at some point in our life, we ask that question, what am I here for? And if I answer it in one way, I'm here to be a writer, I'm here to be a teacher, I'm here to be a doc, I'm here to be, you fill in the blank for your own lives. That becomes a doing piece. It's a role or an identity in some way. And I think that the courageous act that requires an internal sense of bravery is to suspend any attachment to an identity or a label or a role. Yes, we do those roles. I'm not discounting that. But when I step back and I ask myself, who am I? Then I begin to realize that those are essential traits, things that are what I have been living into my adult life. And one of those things for me is being an alchemical lover. After all, I made the name of the company inviteCHANGE because deep in my bones, I'm aware that the common lore is that people only change through difficulty, through struggle, through crisis, through really being tested, challenged in some way, and they let go of the old and they let in the new. I believe that when we are sovereign in ourselves, meaning self-ruling, your king and queen within, if you will, that when we listen to our own internal wisdom, that's the brave act, we will courageously move towards something new. We will invite the change that we want to have in our lives. In other words, to be the cause of a life on purpose. And So I invite you today to spend a little time with yourself exploring this notion of courage and bravery. Where does it show up? It might be simply in the act of choosing to not listen to the news today and allow instead that you are paying attention to who you are and what's magnificent about you and what is the thing that is unique about you, some trait or quality that you walk in the world with that maybe you take for granted because it's so who you are. A bit like a goldfish swimming in water who doesn't know what water is. What's your water? And if you give yourselves the moment to let go of the external distractions, whether it's the news or looking at your Twitter feed or combing through your email, make a little room today to have a practice to examine what is your unique special trait. What's your water? What's that place that if you were brave enough to let it out, to be transparent and open and vulnerable about having other people see that, and then have the courage to own it, to receive back in the reflection from others who will find, I believe, great joy in seeing more of who you are, your authentic self, and acknowledge you and affirm you for allowing that part of you to be out in the world. So be the cause of courage in your life today. And that's all for now. Until tomorrow, be the cause of life on purpose. Janet Harvey signing off.